Good evening, welcome to the Nassau County Board of Commissioners meeting for 5 p.m. Monday, December 8th. If you please rise for our invocation by Mr. Irving Gilliard, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Our Heavenly Father, we honor you, we praise you, and we come to you this evening with humble hearts and bowed heads, and just so thankful for all of your blessings. You've just been so blessed us so this year of 2025. And as we come to this close, we just have to take time out to thank you for all that you have done for us, all of the blessings. And we're again so thankful for the Board of County Commissioners who have taken upon themselves, elected officials, to carry on the business of Nassau County. We ask that you continue to bless them, lead and guide them, and as well those that support them through the county manager's office, county attorney's office. And we always ask safety for our first responders as they go through their daily routine, seeing dangers they see and some they may not see. Continue to look on our military and continue to bless this county. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our nation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCullough?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Farmer?
Here.
Commissioner Martin?
Here.
And Chair Hopman?
Here. County Manager, any expansions or deletions for the agenda this evening?
No, sir, thank you.
Thank you. County Attorney, any expansions or deletions?
I have none, thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Consent item, if any board member wishes to move a consent item to new business, please do so now. I don't,
Mr. Chairman,
I'm sorry, one moment. I do not have any public speaker cards for consent items. Okay, seeing none. Commissioner Martin.
I would like to move the following tabs from consent to new business: L, N, P, and Q. L, N, P, and Q.
Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Gray.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent items, except for the items that Commissioner Martin moved.
L.
L,
P, and Q.
N, P, and Q.
N, P, and Q.
I have a motion from Commissioner Gray,
Second.
second by Commissioner McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent passes. New business. Tab L, consider the following. Approve and authorize the chairman to sign contract number CM 4053, the Nassau County Thomas Creek Restoration Project Grant Agreement with the State of Florida, Department of Environmental Protection, in the amount of $350,000, an associated budget resolution, and two, approve and authorize the county coordinator as defined under the county's grant manual policy to sign all further documentation in relation to this grant. Mr. Pope, or Mr. Companion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank
Yes,
you very
sir.
much. What you have before you tonight is tied into your Thomas Creek project, part of the implementation plan of purchasing the properties out there in that floodplain and removing any improvements out there to return that area to the floodplain. As you know, we have successfully purchased 4 properties and are working to return them again to the floodplain. What you have here is a state appropriation for $350,000 to help in that effort and to leverage against other possible funds to move further down that list. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. It's also noted on here that approval tonight, one of the asks is also to allow staff to execute the rest of the, any remaining documentation for this grant as well, so it's not to bring it back before you all.
Through the chair, Mr. Companion, I may have missed it. Is there any match?
This one does not require a match.
I
Yes,
always
sir.
like to hear that.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Move to approve tab L.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tab L passes 5-0. Tab N, approve and authorize the chairman to sign contract CM 4047 with MAER Homes LLC, DBA MAER Construction for the construction of the Amelia Island Parkway and Buccaneer Trail Roundabout in the amount of $1,824,936.18. Mr. Pope.
Thank you. This is one that we're really excited to see commence. It's been a long time in the works, and for those of you that frequent the south end of the island, improving that intersection is going to be great. And so it's a long overdue project that we're ready to get started.
Again, Mr. Chairman, 1.8 billion, even if it's just a brief explanation of what it is, it's something I think we need to vote on outside of the consent agenda, so that's why I moved it.
If you didn't call this one, I was actually going to call it.
Thank
just
you,
so
sir.
people would know that the roundabout is on its way. finally.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Martin. And now I'll entertain a motion on tab N.
I'll move to approve tab N.
Second?
Motion from Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Tab P, approve and authorize the chairman to execute contract CM 4036 between Nassau County and Asphalt Paving Systems for the alternative paving method services for the initial contract term in the amount not to exceed $2 million. Mr. Companion.
Yes, sir, Chairman Hutton. Before you all, and this item is part of your chip seal program, which is our transition from unpaved roadways on their way to eventually becoming paved. This is a 3-year contract for $2 million, and of course, work authorizations will come back to you as needed under this contract. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have about the
Again, I know it's not like a broken record, but it's because it's a big ticket item, so I move to approve tab P.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes 5-0. Tab Q, approve and authorize the chairman to sign contract CM 4025, the Mobility Donation and Credit Agreement with Taylor Morrison of Florida Incorporated for the construction of signalization improvement at the Pages Dairy and Fellmore Road at an estimated cost of $1,148,052. Mr. Cavanian.
Yes, sir, Chairman. Before you tonight, Headwaters Development is going there, as you know, just north of that intersection of Fillmore and Pages Dairy Road. This agreement is for the mobility agreement for those improvements to be constructed by the developer at the intersection of Pages Dairy and Fillmore Road, and to work out the impact agreement between offsetting and mitigating for the impacts that their new development will have on that roadway, on your roadway network. Here to answer any questions you may have, but it will be a signalized intersection there in the future at the intersection of Fillmore and Pages Dairy Road.
Move to approve tab Q.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Gray. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? That passes 5-0. Tab T, approve a resolution authorizing Florida Resiliency and Energy District, FRED.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Martin. Correction, thank you, sir. New business. Any member of the public may address any item under new business, which I should have done 4 motions ago. I apologize for that. Time limit is 3 minutes. Is there anyone who wishes to address items under new business? I have 2 speaker cards. One is for later in the agenda. Ms. Ruiz, would you like to speak in this? Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Martin, for the reset. Tab T, approving resolution authorizing Florida Resiliency and Energy District, FRED, to enter into a binding interlocal agreement, Nassau County, for C-PACE financing, authorizing the county manager to execute the interlocal agreement.
Thank you, sir.
Madam Attorney.
County Attorney through the chair. This item is before you after you passed an ordinance back in July allowing for commercial items only to do PACE financing. At that time, we knew we had one waiting in the wings. That is FRED. Their representatives are in the audience should you have any questions, but we have spent time negotiating the interlocal agreement you see before you, and the resolution is what is required by your ordinance. And I am ready to answer any questions, as is FRED if needed.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Gray.
I move to approve tab T.
Second?
A motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Tab U, approve and authorize the chairman to sign contract number CM 3974, the real property purchase and sale agreement with the Coalition for the Homeless of Nassau County Incorporated for the purchase of a vacant parcel at 86067 Pages Dairy Road, adjacent to the Yulee Sports Complex, for the purchase price of $80,000. Mr. Pope.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So we appreciate the coalition for working with us. This is a parcel that's directly adjacent to one of our T-ball fields. Had a couple of different ideas bounced around for uses, and ultimately, we were able to secure a contract and bring it for you today to include into the park. And so we will use, if you all execute the acquisition, we'll expand the boundary of the park and use it, help kids play ball.
Yep. Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Gray.
I'd like to make a comment. This is very vital to the community of Yulee. Yulee Sports Complex is a regional facility, and we're busting at the seams. So I'd like to make a motion to approve tab U.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner McCullough.
Yeah, it is tab U, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Martin.
through Chair to County Manager, I read in there, this is stipulated based on whatever the appraisal is. Has the appraisal come in?
Yes, yes.
Beth is here.
Beth is here. We should ask her to come forward.
Assistant County Attorney Beth Moore did all of the appraisal work and your purchase and sale agreement for these items.
And while she's coming forward, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Sure, Mr. Gray.
Yeah, we zoned this parcel, the commission did, the GPU a couple of years ago. And I also purchased, was it 7 acres, County Manager, behind it? So, for future expansion of and so this would just add to it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Mr.
Martin.
Chairman,
I'm
before-
sorry, Mr. Martin.
I think it's great, because I remember what was proposed to go there when we did make that zoning change, and I don't think any of us were really too excited about that, so I think it's great. But I just want to make sure we're not paying above appraisal.
Great. Ms. Moore?
Thank you. For the record, Beth Moore, Assistant County Attorney. You are correct that this purchase and sale agreement that was negotiated is contingent upon an appraisal coming back at or above the $80,000 purchase price that we've negotiated. The appraisal is in the works, but it hasn't currently come back yet. So during the due diligence period, we'll get that appraisal back and, if necessary, renegotiate.
Okay, so through the chair, Ms. Moore, so let's say the appraisal comes back below what the purchase price is. Will that then come back before us, or will you, I know there have been times in the past where, the county manager will talk to us individually, or is it required to come back before us?
So we would renegotiate with the seller, and the way that this particular PSA is structured, it will come back before, since this is the initial signing. Some of the PSAs that we've had before allow the county manager to sign initially, and then you receive it more on the back end after the due diligence has been performed.
Okay.
Because this is a little bit different, it will come back before you to kind of finally sign off on the purchase and closing.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, based on that conversation, I'd like to re-motion if you may. It was
Yes.
Mr. Gray.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make some motion to approve tab U.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray and second by Commissioner McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Tab V, approve and authorize the chairman to sign contract CM 4002, the real property purchase and sale agreement with Michael L. Broussard, PA, for the purchase of a vacant parcel at 462974 State Road 200 for the future Animal Resources Campus in the amount of $270,000. Mr. Pope.
Yes, sir. So I believe it was last year, we secured an 8-acre parcel for the construction of a new animal resources campus. Adjacent to that parcel is a FDOT retention pond. In discussions with FDOT, we're going to utilize the excess capacity in that pond to facilitate construction on the property we purchased. In between that pond and State Road 200, there are 6 small parcels that we are recommending for acquisition that will allow us to expand the pond as necessary and to provide additional flexibility. And so this is one of 2 acquisitions that have went through the process and are here for you this evening for consideration. With that, I will this time defer to staff for technical questions related to the documents that have been received.
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Martin.
And by staff, he's referring to the new Nassau County Office Real Estate Mogul, Randy Carvalho, I'm assuming.
My partner, real estate partner in crime is Ms. Moore, so you never know. Brandon Carvalho, Director of Strategic Advancement. Happy to answer any questions that you have about this property.
My quick one, I'm sorry, Mr. Gray, my quick one is 2 of 4. Is that what, 2 of 4?
Six.
We're looking for 2 of 6. 2 of 6.
There's a total
2 of 6.
6 total, this is
Six.
the first
The first
2
two.
of, and then, so there's an additional 4 more.
Yes, sir.
As per that, Craig, okay.
So there are, of those 6, not counting the 2 on the agenda for tonight, there are 3 that we've had positive communications with and working through different discussions.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Gray.
Yes, sir. Brandy, being our Director of Strategic Advancement, I understand after I talked to you a little bit about this, being in the District of Yulee over here, that we reached out, the county did, we reached out to the sellers. The sellers didn't have the property for sale, but this is such a strategic initiative that we need for our animal shelter going forward that we reached out. Is that correct?
That is correct,
Okay.
yes.
Mr. Farmer.
I don't have a question. I just like to say, I see the smile on her face up there because she's just as excited about it as we are, that, that there's a new animal campus on the horizon. And, anybody that's been to our animal shelter, can tell that it was never designed to be an animal shelter in the beginning, but we've really taken a lot, made a little and made a lot with it over the years. And, I just, like to thank everybody that's involved, because it's been a long time coming, and our good people over at NCAS, they do a wonderful job with what they have. And, I think that Nassau County's residents will be really, really excited when they see, the conceptual drawings and see what's actually planned there for our facility, and, man, it's gonna be a really, really nice, facility, and I'm excited about it.
Thank you, Mr. Farmer. With that, any other questions? Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Farmer, second by Commissioner Gray. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Tab W, approve and authorize the chairman to sign contract CM 4003, the real property and purchase sale agreement with Robert Lee Mack Jr. and Rochelle R. Mack for the purchase of a parcel and residential building at 462988 State Road 200 for the future Animal Resources Campus in the amount of $300,000.
Move to approve tab W.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Thank you, Ms. Carvalho.
Thank you.
Legislative public hearings. Madam Attorney, if you please read the procedures.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. The following items are legislative items. Those are tabs X through tabs AG. The procedures are in place to give all who wish to speak for or against an item the opportunity to do so. Those wishing to speak in favor of or against the item being considered will have 3 minutes to address the board. All statements should be addressed to the board and address only the item under consideration. Speakers should not engage in personal attacks on other speakers, staff, or board members. Speakers must begin by stating their name and address for the record. Please do not be repetitive or restate the same information as prior speakers. Sharing or transferring of time is not allowed. The clerk will control the time allocated. Again, that is 3 minutes. Any speakers with documents as a part of their presentation should present them to the deputy clerks. They do become part of the permanent record. The meeting is being recorded, so please no applause, outbursts, or talking, as it does distort the recording. The board will then close the public hearing and discuss the item under consideration. You may ask questions of speakers or staff. The board will then deliberate and vote on the item before you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. Tab X, continue public hearing on ordinance 2025-69 regarding Parks and Recreation Facility impact fees, fire rescue impact fees, law enforcement impact fees, and administrative facility impact fees to a date certain of December 17, 2025 at 9 a.m. I'll open the floor for public discussion of tab X. Staff presentation and discussion. Mr. Ironman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Ms. Julie Hurlin makes her way up to the podium to do a presentation, as we've had 3 workshops, we've had a lot of additional outreach. We did want to kind of walk through this a little bit quicker. I know she's got a lot of slides, so if there's a point you want to stop to reinforce an item, we'll stop and discuss that a little bit more. We'll echo what's in those workshops, but I've asked her to kind of walk through the presentation pretty quickly to not be redundant from the other information presented to the board.
Yeah, for the public information, we had a workshop on this in the last hour. Thank you.
Great. Good to be with you again, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Okay, so as Mr. Ehrman mentioned, we're going to be pretty quick. Please stop me at any point through the presentation if we want to pause. So we have impact fees in place. It's a one-time payment. requirements need to be met. There's a need, their payers pay a proportional amount of their, of the cost for the infrastructure, and there's a benefit received. There are impact fee requirements through the state, including a need to consider extraordinary needs if the increase is over 50%. And so we've had workshops pertaining to that topic specifically. The impact fee update, you've received an updated draft dated November 25th, 2025. Each of the fee categories listed here is included in that report. There are generally three methodologies that we use to conduct a study, and all of the fees are calculated using the incremental expansion methodology that's highlighted here. Again, happy to answer any questions about that. This is your current schedule that's being updated. And the components that are included in the update, again, with where they are, the location that they're calculated for, and the components that are included within each of the categories, the subcomponents within each category. This is the calculated maximum supportable amounts that is in excess of the 50%. The housing unit that we are highlighting is the average size of 2,000 square feet unit of $7,322 per unit. You'll see here multifamily by size as well, and then non-residential fee categories as well. So again, the maximum supportable amount in the unincorporated in the towns listed, and then this is in Fernandina Beach, pardon me. And then just note that any impact fee is assessed in a municipality needs an interlocal agreement with the county. So I have a series of slides for each of the categories. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on them. I'll just kind of show you what you're looking at, and then we can answer any questions you may have. So the first one is parks, and this is, there's also a key on the slides for where this appears in the report. So this is report figure 8. That's showing on the top levels of service, and this is for residential development, so levels of service, the cost for that particular piece of infrastructure, so land purchase here, beach water separated from other parklands, and then a projection of population, the demand for that infrastructure, and then applying the cost for that particular type of infrastructure, and then the 10-year amount of growth or the impact, the cost to provide that same level of, to provide that amount of infrastructure. This is a population projection that's based on Bieber, the medium level projections. This is, it's an incremental expansion approach. So if the county were to grow slower, there would be less of a need for the infrastructure. If the county were to grow quicker, there would be more of a need for infrastructure. So it's keyed specifically to growth, and this is just a projection here. So using that and the cost per person, we get our fee schedule for this particular component of the impact fee. So this is for parks, for the land, water access, and other park land, again, by size of housing unit. So again, this is repeated for each of the categories. I'm not going to go through each one, but just so you know what you're looking at. So recreational facilities, again, levels of service, the need for growth, the need to accommodate growth, and the fee schedule that accompanies that. Fire rescue, we add in non-residential, so we have residential projections and non-residential projections. The levels of service summarized at the top. The demand factor on the non-residential side is vehicle trips from non-residential development, and that captures the impact to that service. The need, the 10-year projected need for infrastructure for those components, and the fee schedule that accompanies those components. Same thing on law enforcement, residential, non-residential, the 10-year projected needs, and the accompanying fee schedule. And then finally, the administrative facilities, same thing, residential, non-residential. In this case, on the non-residential side, we use employment. That's the demand factor, the amount of infrastructure demanded for the projected growth, and then the accompanying fee. And you'll note here, there's a revenue credit that's identified and baked into the fee calculation to account for debt service on the administrative facilities currently. Again, to summarize and to hit the high points on the extraordinary circumstances, Levels of service have increased in the county since the previous fee calculation. Costs have increased since the previous fee calculation, the fee study, and population and housing unit growth has continued to grow and has been a relatively rapid pace in the last 5 years, and also projected to continue to grow by over 10%. Again, we've included credits in our calculation, and the use of the incremental expansion methodology sets the levels of service as today's level of service, and therefore credit is not necessary for previous impact fees being paid. And to repeat on the record that there's been significant amount of discussions with stakeholders on scrubbing those costs and land values, et cetera. Again, with extraordinary circumstances, we've shown here in the memo and in this documentation the calculated fees compared to the statutory limit and what that shortfall is, and what the shortfall is when we look at the growth share of expenditures, so between $9 and $10 million of a shortfall. So again, the calculated impact fees here at the maximum level. And then the proposed phase-in rates, taking the difference and phasing it by 2 years. So the 2026 proposed fee schedule, again, at that 2,000 square foot unit, $5,521 per unit. And then the increasing to the maximum supportable in 2027 at that $7,322.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Mr. Ivan.
with this public hearing, we know the request is to hear some of the presentation tonight, but to continue the public hearing on this ordinance to the date certain of December 17th at 9 a.m. And then we'll continue this for direction from the board at that point in time.
Understood. Thank you, sir. I have no speaker cards on tab X. Board questions for staff? That's a presentation. Seeing none? Okay, I'll close the floor for public discussion. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Board deliberation, or I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Farmer.
I'd like to make a motion. My motion is continue the public hearing on ordinance 2025-69 regarding the parks and recreational facilities, impact fees, fire rescue impact fees, law enforcement impact fees, and administrative facility impact fees to a date certain of December 17th, 2025 at 9 a.m.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Farmer, second by Commissioner Martin. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCullough,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yeah.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
and Chair Hupman.
Yes.
That's 5 ayes, 0 nays, your motion carries.
Tab Y, continue second public hearing on the amended and restated East Nassau Community Planning Area Proposed Transportation Improvements and Mobility Fee Agreement to a date certain of December 17th at 9 a.m. Mr. Companion. I'll open the floor for public discussion. Tab Y.
Evening, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening, sir.
Commissioners. So for item Y, this is the beginning of the second public hearing for the amended and restated agreement with ENCPA regarding transportation improvements and mobility fee agreement. Basically, the amendments being made here, as we've talked at the last 3 workshops, reflect the updates due to the extraordinary needs. The inflation we've seen obviously caused an increase in the cost of the network that you see as a part of their agreement. Their agreement was originally executed, I believe, in 2013 and then amended in 2021 when we did our last mobility fee update. So the purpose of this amendment to this agreement is to reflect those new updates in cost for the network. The calculations are very similar, almost nearly identical to our calculations for Zone 2, Zone 1 and 3 for Zone 2. And basically, what you're seeing here tonight is, again, just reflecting those updates to that to reflect new amounts and new dates and those kind of things as we move through this process. And I'm here to answer any questions. Of course, the ask tonight is to also continue this item to December 17th at 9 a.m. With that, any questions you may have?
Seeing none? I have no speaker cards for tab Y. Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, the tab. Oh, I didn't see the item on there, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Stacy Ruiz, 1 Independent Drive, Suite 1200, Jacksonville, 32202. I'm here on behalf of Radiant LLC and the other landowners of this agreement. I'm not going to repeat anything Mr. Companion just said. I'm here for a housekeeping nit. I would respectfully ask if this board does decide to continue the item, that not only do you say the date and the time certain, but also the place, which I know is in the chambers. The statute's very particular, and I just appreciate that. Other than that, I'm here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ruiz.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Farmer, yes, sir.
if there's no further business amongst the board.
Let me close the public discussion then. Okay,
I'd like to make a motion.
okay, Commissioner Farmer.
My motion is to continue the second public hearing on the amended and restated East Nassau County Community Planning Area Proposed Transportation Improvements and Mobility Fee Agreement to a date certain of December 17th, 2025 at 9 a.m. in the BOCC chambers.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Farmer, second by Commissioner Gray. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner McCullough,
Yes.
and Chair Huffman.
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, your motion carries.
Tab Z, continue public hearing on ordinance 2025-63 regarding East Nassau Community Planning Area correction. East Nassau Community Planning Area Mobility Network Ordinance to a date certain of December 17th, 2025 at 9 a.m. in the Board of County Commissioners chambers. There's a voice amendment there to the reading, which should help with that this time. Mr. Companion, let me open the floor for public discussion on tab Z.
Yes, sir. And to clarify, the reason why these look like duplicate items, tab Y was for your agreement with the developer. This is actually for your Zone 2, which just so happens to also fall within that ENCPA boundary.
Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. So this is a very similar presentation that you'll also hear for tab Z. We've also heard it 3 times now at the previous workshops we've held. Basically, it boils down to your mobility fee goals is to obviously have new growth pay for itself, maintain the current levels of service, and to mitigate for the impacts of growth, keep it simple, and obviously positive impacts are credited. And at the end of the day, reduce urban sprawl is also one of your goals. All the projects included not only in zones 1 and 3, which you'll hear later, but also in zone 2, must add capacity to the Nassau County Transportation Network. And again, we're not trying to increase the level of service, just maintain your current level of service by adding the capacity needed. Fees are charged at permit. So when somebody comes in to permit a new single-family residence, a new commercial business, industrial, whatever it may be that falls under new development, that's when that fee is assessed. This is not a fee assessed to current properties or current businesses, unless there is an expansion. Your zones, as you see here, 1, 2, and 3, we're specifically talking about in this item, Zone 2 in the blue. Their methodology is slightly different in that it is more based on the VMTs that are created based on their development and their entitlements. But the map here is still the same. As we can tell, the red segments here are the ones that are projected to fall below the acceptable levels of service by 2045 if we do nothing. And but what's important to note is this doesn't represent all levels of service drop, just those that drop below the acceptable levels of service as adopted in your comprehensive plan. I'm going to skip down a couple pages here to focus strictly on the ENCPA. So this is the network as proposed within the ENCPA and as amended. The biggest thing to note in this plan is obviously the light blue roadway labeled number 1 there. That is the River Bluff Parkway, which is a parallel facility to State Road 200 connecting Chester Road to US 17 at the I-95 interchange, 17 I-95 interchange. But there are other roads here that also serve to offset and obviously mitigate some of those red expected to fall below acceptable levels of service that you saw on that map previously. State Road 200 in this segment that's to the south and US 17 both were red, lit up red as showing those would fall below the acceptable levels of service. This is the chart and I'm sorry if you cannot read it, but it should be in your packets as well. What it basically boils down to, as you heard earlier in the public workshop, our cost per VMT is at $106.64, our recommended current cost per VMT. The NCPA's separate calculation found that their cost per VMT is $102.35. So their fees are very, very close in line with ours, with the Zone 1 fees. Zone 2 fees are close to the Zone 1 fees, I should clarify. So the Zone 2 is using the same methodology with a slight difference in how the VMT is calculated based off entitlements. And there is, instead of having discounts like we talked about with what the board typically spends in a 20-year span of $110 million and the discounts for grants and all that were discussed, there is a 12% tax increment fund that counts as a discount on this plan as well that you should note. Again, to address the extraordinary circumstances, just like your zones 1 and 3, Zone 2 is also impacted by the construction inflation costs of nearly 66% or more than 66%, material cost escalations of 45%, right-of-way cost estimation, and supply chain and delivery delays. And with that, I'm here to answer any questions you may have about this particular portion of the mobility fee. But again, tonight, we're asking for continuance to December 17th at 9 a.m. in these chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Cabanas. I do not have any speaker cards on tab Z. Ms. Rose, can I assume it's the same comments as, yeah, thank you, ma'am. Any board questions for staff? No, sir. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing for tab Z. Board deliberation, or I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner McCullough.
my motion is to continue the public hearing on ordinance 2025-63 regarding the East Nassau Community Planning Area Mobility Network Ordinance to a date certain, December 17th, 2025 at 9 a.m.
In the Board of County Commissioners chambers.
In the Board of County Commissioners chambers at James Page.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, motion for Commissioner McCullough and second by Commissioner Gray. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer?
Yes.
Commissioner McCullough?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
And Chair Hopman?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, your motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Cabanas. Tab AA, continue the public hearing on ordinance 2025-70 regarding mobility impact fees to a date certain of December 17th, 2025 at 9 a.m. in the Board of County Commissioners chambers. I will open the public comment for tab AA. Mr. Cabanas.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, same goals that we talked about in the previous hearing and at the public workshops. New growth pay for itself, maintain existing levels of service, and keep it fair and simple. All projects must add capacity to the network. For this item, we're talking about zones 1 and 3 in the beige and green color on your screen here. Basically, what we did is we modeled using the Northeast Florida Regional Planning Model and determined how many additional trips based on the projected population would be added to your network. And we call that vehicle miles traveled. And a long story short, what we ended up arriving at is roughly 1.5 million additional vehicle miles traveled in the east zone and 1.15 million vehicle miles traveled in the west zone. So a pretty big impact there. Again, we talked once before about these red roadways and the level of service drops. This is your plan. Aside from the plan that we heard in item Y within Zone 2, this is your plan for Zones 1 and 3. These projects all add capacity to the network, and the ultimate goal is to provide alternatives and parallel routes where you have these level of service drops projected. So State Road 200, US 17, the intersection at Callahan at 200 and US 301, and obviously US 301 and Crawford Road. So there's multiple areas where we're trying to mitigate for that all of these projects are specific to add capacity to address those impacts. The cost of your network is total across both over the next 20 years, roughly $431 million. We discussed how we rank the projects previously at the workshop, break it down into categories, and then use metrics, and each road gets a score. We then rank them based on those scores and try to pursue that rank in your CIP plan. So a lot of these projects, if you go into your capital improvement plan, you'll find that a lot of these are, all of these are really represented in your CIP plan. Cost in the east zone is $238.9 million. West zone, Zone 3 is $192.9 million. Again, you spend about $110,650,000 every 20 years not outside of mobility funding for capacity adding projects. So we count that as a discount in accordance with the state statute. That accounts for about 25.62% of the overall cost of both of those zones. So we would discount that. So that brings the east zone down to 177.7 or 177.8 if you're rounding. And that brings it down to 162 after we take out additional discounts for any grants we've received, any partially completed projects, and any existing mobility funding that you have in place on that CIP. That brought us down to $162.5 million for the east zone. Did the same calculation for the west, and that brought that total to 143.5. All that adds up to the maximum supportable cost per vehicle mile travel of $108.67 in the east zone and $124.54 in the west zone. Obviously, that would result in the numbers you see here if you're looking just at the single-family home implications. Staff is not recommending the maximum supportable. We're actually recommending 106.64 in the east zone and 79.55 in the west zone. And these would, the examples below kind of show reflects what a single-family home fee could see. And again, what happens as a new development comes on, this is kind of a summary of what I just explained. This chart actually has it listed for the east and west zones for all of the ITE codes. Again, those are the International Transportation Engineers ITE codes, and gives you a breakdown of what the cost would be depending on what your development's nature is. And with that, I am able to answer any questions you may have. We did compare with St. Johns County. They did pass their update to their impact fees at their December 2nd meeting. Your proposed fees actually fall within the range. They have a range based on square footage. Ours is one flat fee. They're based on square footage. We do fall in that median range for a 1,251 to 2,500 square foot home is where our fee falls within their schedule. What their fees were prior to December 2nd, their current fees go up to they go from that same range from 10,000 up to 17,000 for that same range. So you're on the lower end of that range when compared to St. John's. Again, construction cost inflation, population growth, outstanding population growth that we've had in the county and continue to be projected for the county, material cost escalation increases, and right-of-way cost estimation increase from 15,000 to 100,000 from when the last time the update was made to the mobility fees. And that is your extraordinary circumstances, the reason why we're asking to exceed the statutory limits of the 25%, 50%. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have. And again, the request today is to continue December 17th, 9 a.m. within these chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Companion. I have no speaker cards on tab AA. Seeing none. Board questions for Mr. Companion? No? Close the floor for public discussion. Board deliberation, or I'll entertain a motion on tab AA.
Mr. Chairman, my motion is to continue the public hearing on ordinance 2025-70 regarding mobility impact fees to date certain of December 17th, 2025 at 9 a.m. in the Board of County Commissioners chambers.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner McCullough, second by Commissioner Farmer. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Farmer?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McCullough?
Yes.
And Chair Hutman?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, your motion carries.
Thank you. Tab AB, consider and approve ordinance 2025-057 for CPA 24-004, comprehensive plan amendment for the reclassification of 24.63 acres of real property located at the terminus of John Street, Clyde Street, Robert Street, and Yanni Road from low-density residential LDR to high-density residential HDR, Northgate of Nassau LLC, owner Gregory E. Montevita, agent District 3. I will open the floor for public discussion of tab AB. Staff presentation.
Good evening, Commissioners. Elizabeth back with the Planning Department. Let me just pull up our slides. All right, to restate, this is a future land use map amendment, approximately 24.63 acres, seeking to move from low-density residential, or LDR, to high-density residential, HDR. The applicant and owner is Northgate of Nassau LLC. Agent is Greg Matavina, and this is in Commission District 3. So to locate us here, we are north of State Road 200. And this parcel is bounded in the red outline, just west of Fellmore Road. To the south, it's Minor Road, just west of that intersection. On the left-hand side here, we have in this light green shade, the present zoning of this is open rural, or OR. There is a companion rezoning that you'll be hearing later tonight during the quasi-judicial section of the evening. On the right-hand side, we can see this yellow shade, low-density residential, and they are seeking, as I mentioned, to move to HDR, or high-density residential. As part of the rezoning, which is a planned unit development, or PUD request, they are requesting duplex, and that is consistent and compatible with the request for HDR. HDR does allow a maximum of 10 dwelling units per acre. And the current LDR is just at 2 dwelling units per acre. So this request in the planned unit development would be for 190 residential units. That would be consistent with the density standards of HDR. And just to add to that, you're well aware this is within the Timber to Tides design overlay, the T2TDO. And as part of that, if they had gone to the transect, that is a very similar density that you would see with their the regulating map transect, which would be T3.5. So moving on, pursuant to the future land use policy, FL.01.04, and this text is very small. I'm not going to read it all, but it is in your supplemental staff report. And so this request does meet items A through G. Looking at it is not encouraging, it's discouraging urban sprawl. You're looking to seek these 190 duplex uses within an area that would be served by public infrastructure along a state road, and the population growth that we're well aware of, that we're seeing, we've looked at through the Vision 2050 plan. Now we're in that EAR-based 2045 update, and the next to come 2050 full update to our comprehensive plan. We're looking at a potential doubling of our population. So we're looking to provide the housing in the areas where the services can be provided, where there's public sewer and water and infrastructure and roadways. Also looking for parallel corridors to State Road 200 to take some of that growth off, everyone having to depend on State Road 200. You'll see further down, we talk about compact development form. The duplex type of unit leads to a more compact, walkable environment, and very close by to schools and other services in the area. I will mention there's a small wetland area that will be required to be protected and to have the typical upland buffer that's required for wetlands. So I won't read from this either, but I do believe I've covered everything. Talked about encouraging higher density, compact development form and walkable urban environment, and would also provide a pedestrian connectivity system. We talked about the urban transitioning corridor within the Timber to Tides, the growth trends report, looking at that population growth even by 2035 of over 138,000 people. And then we talked about adequate infrastructure. There's road capacity available. Any operational improvements are required to be done during that site development review process. And looking at the PUD, that name is Northgate, leading into a fiscally and environmentally sustainable development, as I mentioned, with the goods and services nearby. And the compact development form, we talked about the wetlands. So in summation, last thing to mention, we do find that this is consistent with the policies in the future land use code, those required to be reviewed as part of a future land use map amendment. Staff is recommending approval, and I will mention that at their October 21st meeting, the Planning and Zoning Board did vote unanimously to recommend approval of this application. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Mr. Montabino, I have a card, going to hold that unless you have additional comments at this time?
Not at this time,
Thank you, Mr. Montabino. Mr. Peter Procco.
Hey, hi. What do you want me to do for you first?
Just state your name and address for the record.
Peter Procco. I live at 86130 Williams Avenue here in Yulee. I've been here before. I think I've talked about this stuff. The unanimous approval of this previously. What happened? This was already unanimously approved by the planning department previously. What happened? We're now on the second attempt at this. Interesting, it's just amazing that I have to come back and try to defend my homestead. From open rural, we go straight to high density, or low density, we're going straight to high density for this project. It's really not congruent. It seems to me that critical decisions that directly affect the safety and welfare of our citizens are repeatedly manipulated to benefit developers and the developers only. In my opinion, the average citizen voices of concern have been muffled repeatedly by those with financial interest in land acquisition and development. Safety and well-being are taking a backseat to profit. Twice now, the PZB has heartily recommended to you all the onward progression of this PUD. Who are those guys at the PZB that were just, boom, no questions, let's just do it? Todd Erickson, he's a broker and a real estate agent. Ron Flick of the Compass Group, and construction management, land development. Jerry Hinson, founder of Regional Development and Opportunity Funding. Karen Brantley, president of Florida Infrastructure and owner of Nassau Management. Win Fendig, he's a licensed sales associate, real estate company, skilled in land acquisition and then development. So they're really not, and Tyrone Blue, I think he's a regular guy, but the rest of them seem to be involved in just real estate acquisition and development. So they're not kind of general folks like us, like me, that are just trying to live here. They're interested in the development and acquisition of land for development. This is the second attempt, as I said, we're trying to bring this before the BOCC. For some reason, this revised plan now meets the approval of the planning department when just last year Joshua Macbeth recommended denial of the same approach, right? They took this plan and went like this, so now it's better. The traffic flow was like this, and they literally went like this and said, okay, let's do it that way. It just doesn't seem strange. It seems very strange. 350% increase in daily traffic generation from this project. You're taking this zoning and change it to high density, 350% increase in traffic. 350%. And you're gonna dump it where? Straight down Yanni Road, right into SR 200. So I'm confused how anything's changed, that now it wasn't approved before and it is now, like something magic happened. It wasn't approved as single access straight through Yanni. They wanted to come straight through my house. Furthermore, I believe it undermines the democratic process when I have to stand before certain members of this board who have taken monies from developers and engineers that are involved in this process.
Thank you, Mr. Procco. Time's up.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yep, thank you very much.
thank you.
Any questions for staff or speakers? Seeing none, I will close the floor for public discussion on tab AB. Or deliberation, or I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Gray.
I'd like to make a motion for approval for tab AB, consider and approve ordinance 2025-057 for CPA 24-004, comprehensive plan amendment for the reclassification of 24.63 acres of real property located at the terminus of John Street, Clyde Street, Robert Street, and Yanni Road, from low-density residential to high-density residential. Northgate.
Sorry, Mr. Gray, you may be reading from the rezoning
Okay,
motion.
I'm sorry.
I think this one is AB.
Thank you.
Legislative.
Tab, baby, I apologize. Based upon the record evidence and testimony received, I find that the plan amendment is consistent with policy FL 0102B, policy FL 0104A through G of the Nassau County Comprehensive Plan, and therefore my motion is to approve CPA 24-004, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion from Commissioner Gray,
Second?
a second from Commissioner McCullough. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCullough,
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
and Chair Helpman.
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, your motion carries.
Tab AC, conduct a public hearing for the consideration of a resolution electing to use the uniform method of collecting non-ad valorem special assessments levied within the unincorporated and unincorporated areas of the county, stating a need for such levy, providing for the mailing of this resolution, providing for an effective date. I will open the floor for tab AC. Staff presentation or discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. County Attorney, on this item, annually, you consider this resolution to use the uniform method of collecting non-ad valorem assessments authorized under 197.3632. This is for your county MSBU and your Amelia Concourse MSBU, but also for any other MSBU that may be created to allow for the collection of those special assessments upon the tax rolls. And I'm here for any questions.
Thank you. I have no speaker cards on tab AC. Seeing none. Any questions for the county attorney? Nope. I'll close the floor for public discussion or deliberation, or I'll entertain a motion on tab AC.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Farmer.
make a motion. Based on the review of the applicable testimony and evidence provided, my motion is to approve the resolution.
Second?
I have a motion from Commissioner Farmer, second by Commissioner McCullough. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner McCullough,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
and Chair Helpman.
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, your motion carries.
Thank you, ma'am. Tab AD, consider and approve CPA 25-026, comprehensive plan amendment for the reclassification of 9.83 acres real property located on the east side of Jean Lassier Boulevard from industrial IND to Transect 7.3 T 7.3. John Farrell Burkett, revocable trust owner, Nassau County agent in District 3. I'll open the floor for public discussion on tab AD. Staff presentation.
Good evening, Commissioners. Elizabeth back with the Planning Department. So this request is a comprehensive plan amendment to amend the future land use map. This one is to go to a Transect district, Special District T 7.3, which would be an industrial park on property approximately 9.83 acres. That's currently has a land use category of industrial. The owner applicant is John Farrell Burkett Revocable Trust. Nassau County is serving as agent for this, as we've been doing for the past couple months, for folks who do want to go to the Transect recommended in the regulated map. And this is in Commission District 3. Okay. Make sure it's working. Okay, so for the location, we're here just north of State Road 200. And the Aldi's is just south of this property, and this is Jean Lacier. So we're on the east side on a vacant parcel on the east side of Jean Lacier. Within the Timber to Tides design overlay, we have different transects and connectivity areas. This one is called the Minor Node and Tradeplex. So this is part of that area. The approximate location is a little tricky to see at this size. It's about there if you can see my cursor. The map on our left is showing us the current land use of industrial. And the map on the right is for the zoning district. It's currently zoned IW, or industrial warehouse, and there is a companion rezoning that we will hear later this evening. So just to let you know about the uses within the special district, T 7.3, it's intended for job-generating uses such as light industrial, warehousing. Permitted uses are those as can be found in our land development code under the industrial warehouse and the industrial heavy zoning districts. An additional use allowed in T 7.3 is travel trailer parks and campgrounds. And those would be subject to supplemental standards that are in the code. This being less than 50 acres is considered a small scale comprehensive plan future land use map request. And then if you're looking at our chart that shows all of the timber to tides allowed densities and floor area ratio maximums, is one of our more intense ones, which makes sense in this location, but it goes from 0 to 25 residential units in some of the other special districts with a 4.0 floor area ratio maximum. So as I mentioned, it's within the timber to tides district. It's pretty similar because it's moving from industrial to an industrial special district. It's not changing drastically. There are some wetlands shown on our tax map, and required buffers would be required per our land development code. As you're aware, this is in a busy area that has a lot of services, including courthouse, sheriff's office, retail and grocery stores. There's a fire station planned about 3 miles away, and an additional one on Old Nassauville. There is a need for job generating and commercial uses to support that population growth that we're seeing. So the last thing to mention is that staff does find this to be consistent with the comprehensive plan, the regulating map for the timber to tides design overlay, the criteria for review for a future land use map amendment, and staff is recommending approval. I should mention that the Planning and Zoning Board recommended approval of this at their November 4th Planning and Zoning Board meeting. I'm available for any questions.
I have no speaker cards on tab AD. Any questions for the staff? Seeing none, I'll close the public discussion on tab AD for deliberation, or I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Gray.
based upon the record evidence and testimony received, I find that the plan amendment is consistent with policy FL 0102J and policy FL 0104A through G of the Nassau County Comprehensive Plan, and therefore my motion is to approve CPA 25-026.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Commissioner Farmer. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
It's that cold he has.
Yeah, sorry.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner McCullough,
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
and Chair Hutman.
Yes,
5 ayes, 0 nays, your motion carries.
thank you. The reason Commissioner McCullough's name was on my mind is because she has asked for a brief recess.
Thank you, Mr. Hutman.
You're welcome, and I almost got ahead of the vote. So we will take a 10-minute recess, please, and we'll meet back at quarter after. We'll reconvene the Board of County Commissioners. It is 6:12, a little early. So, Tab AE. Consider CPA 25-020. Consider and approve an amendment to the future land use map of approximately 2.24 acres located on the east side Highway 17 between Hamilton Street and Cohen Lane, approximately 1 mile north of US 17 and State Road 200 intersection, from low-density residential and commercial to commercial. Yulee 17 LLC, owner, Nassau County agent in District 3. I'll open the floor for public discussion on tab AE. Staff presentation. There he is. He's already.
Will, yep.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners. Will Ryder, Planning Department. This is a request to amend the future land use map of 2 parcels, totaling approximately just over 2 acres from low-density residential and commercial to commercial. Owner is Yulee 17 LLC. Nassau County Planning Department serving as the agent on this property. This property is situated, you see here in red, at the intersection of Hamilton Street and US 17, about 1 mile north of the 17 SR 200 intersection. Closer look at the property, you see that we have on the lower half on this lot, same owner, medical offices, and a vacant property here. And then here's the issue with this property. You can see this split condition of the future land use map, or the land use designation. This yellow is low-density residential, the red is commercial, which renders this undevelopable, unable to expand. There's a possibility of expansion if you remove the property line, or you can't do that. You can't build on this lot over here. And it also renders this existing business non-conforming. Over here on the right, you can see this is commercial general. The zoning is fine for what they want to do. So the request is to change this to red to make this commercial. And what it will amending this to commercial will make that conforming, eliminate the split land use designation, and make this developable. Make use of a vacant lot and a good infill opportunity. Will point out that this is situated in the Timber to Tides design overlay. The owner has elected to fix this under the old Euclidean zoning, like so many of the applications that you've seen Mrs. Back present the past few months. I would like to point out that any future development will have to adhere to the Articles 44 and 45, the Transect standards, even if they develop under commercial general. It's consistent with the future land use, or with the comprehensive plan, and the Planning and Zoning Board unanimously voted to recommend approval of this at its November 4th meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Will. I have no speaker cards on tab AE. Is there any questions for Will? No? Okay. I'll close the floor for public discussion and entertain a motion on tab AE.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Based upon the record and evidence and testimony received, I find that the plan amendment is consistent with policy FL0102C and policy FL0104A through G of the Nassau County Comprehensive Plan, and therefore my motion is to approve CPA 25-020.
Second that motion.
Motion from Commissioner McGray, second by Commissioner McCullough. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner McCullough?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
And Chair Huffman?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, your motion carries.
Tab AF, consider and approve an ordinance amending Chapter 21-167, subparagraph B, subparagraph 8, Exhibit A, Boundaries of District Ordinance 2018-47, which established the Three Rivers Community Development District, specifically Section 3, in order to amend the external boundaries of the Three Rivers Community Development District pursuant to Chapter 190, Florida Statutes 2025. This is in District 5. I will open the public discussion on tab AF. Staff presentation.
Good evening, Elizabeth Beck. Let me get the right one up. Sorry, Elizabeth Beck with the Planning Department. This one is a request for a contraction of a Community Development District, or CDD. within Three Rivers. We know it as tributary as well. The owner applicant is Three Rivers Community Development District, and the agent is Wesley S. Haber, again in District 5. So this district was initially passed in 2018 as ordinance 2018-47. You can see in the bottom right-hand side here, the boundaries of the tributary of just over 1,500 acres in this graphic. Now a little bit smaller on this east-hand side on Edwards Road. That is the area, the 22.39 acres that they are seeking to remove from the CDD along the eastern boundary of the site. The Florida statute has certain things that they have to submit, and they did that in their petition. I believe Mr. Haber's here tonight, and based on completing those, the petition accurately, staff is recommending approval of the contraction to this community development district. Staff is available for any questions. This did not go to the Planning and Zoning Board. It goes straight to the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Haber, did you have any additional comments?
Only for any questions.
Thank you, sir. Okay, any questions for Ms. Beck or Mr. Haber? Seeing none, I'll close the floor to public discussion and entertain a motion on tab A.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Farmer.
if I may, based on the record, evidence, and testimony received, I find that there is competent and substantial evidence pursuant to Chapter 190 Florida statutes and the Nassau County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 20.5, Article 6, and therefore my motion is to approve CDD 25-001.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Farmer, second by Commissioner Martin. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner McCullough?
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer?
Yes.
And Chair Hutton?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, the motion carries.
Tab AG, consider and approve ordinance 2025-062, an amendment to the LDC Article 32 definitions and LDC Article 5 procedures. I will open the floor for public discussion of AG. Staff presentation.
Good evening, Elizabeth back with the Planning Department. So this is, as was mentioned, a land development code update. Senate Bill 954 was signed by the governor in June of this year, and this does require that all local governments adopt an ordinance prior to January 1. So we're getting close, we're doing this now, to create and streamline a process for reasonable accommodations. And what this does in Article 32 of our Land Development Code will add a new definition for certified recovery residences, and that is in the draft ordinance and the background material for this item. In addition, it is adding to Article 5 procedures a new section, Section 5.09, reasonable accommodations request for certified recovery residences, and the review process is included there. And this is consistent with future land use element objective 10, policy FL.10.05, in terms of encouraging the county to review existing regulations and to make sure that we revise our future land use plan as necessary through land development code updates. Last thing to mention in conclusion, this amendment is in conformance with Florida statutes, and the goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan is not seen to conflict with the Land Development Code, Code of Ordinances, and other regulatory documents. Staff is recommending approval of ordinance 2025-062. And I should mention the Planning and Zoning Board did see this item and voted unanimously to recommend approval of the ordinance. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. I have no public speaker cards on tab AG. Is there anyone to speak on AG? Seeing none, I'll close the floor to public discussion or deliberation, or I will entertain a motion on tab AG.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner McCullough.
based upon the record, evidence, and testimony received, I find that the plan amendment is consistent with Nassau County's comprehensive plan, future land use element policy FL.10, and policy FL.10.05, Florida statutes, and the Nassau County Land Development Code. Therefore, my motion is to approve LDC 2025-004.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner McCullough, second by Commissioner Farmer. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
Commissioner McCullough,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Chair Hutman.
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, your motion carries.
Thank you, ma'am. Tabs AH through AJ are quasi judicial hearings. The county attorney will read the procedures, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As stated, the following items are to be heard as quasi-judicial hearings. Those are tab AH, to consider and approve ordinance 2025-055 for PUD 24-002, the rezoning of approximately 24.63 acres located at the terminus of John Street, Clyde Street, Robert Street, and Yanni Road from open rural to planned unit development. Application filed by Northgate of Nassau LLC owner and Gregory Eaton and Matavina agent, District 3. Tab AI, to consider and approve ordinance 2025-054, the rezoning of approximately 12,000 square feet of the back portion of the property from residential single-family 2 to commercial intensive, to correct a split zoning on the parcel. Application filed by Forshee Investments LLC owner, Michael Forshee agent, District 3. Tab AJ, to consider and approve R 25-019, the rezoning of approximately 9.83 acres from industrial warehouse to transect 7.3. Application filed by John Farrell Burkett Revocable Trust owners, Nassau County agent, District 3. A quasi-judicial hearing by state and case law is different than a regular hearing. A quasi-judicial hearing is less formal than a court hearing, but similar in its procedures and evidence matters. Applicants have the burden of demonstrating through competent and substantial evidence that his or her application is consistent with the following requirements. For tab AH, that's policy FL.01.02B, FL.08.04, and FL.08.06 A through G, Land Development Code, Section 502 C and D, and rezoning application criteria, Section 12A through N, and PUD criteria of Section 25.05 C1 through 6. As for tab AI, Nassau County Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Element Policy FL.01.02C and FL.08.06A through G, and Land Development Code Section 502 C and D. For tab AJ, Policy FL.01.02J, Policy FL.02.06, Policy FL.08.04, and Policy FL.08.06A through G of the Nassau County Comprehensive Plan, and Sections 502C and D, 1 through 8 of the Nassau County Land Development Code. Those opposed must also demonstrate through competent substantial evidence that the application does not meet these requirements. While the board welcomes comments from all who have an interest in this proceeding, Florida law requires that the board's decision in a quasi-judicial action be supported by competent, substantial evidence presented to the board during the hearing on the application. Competent, substantial evidence is such evidence as a reasonable mind would accept as adequate to support a conclusion. There must be a factual basis in the record to support opinion testimony from both expert and non-expert witnesses. General objections without specific evidence does not constitute substantial and competent evidence. Email communications received up until the time of this meeting are part of the public record for the hearing, but are not without more competent and substantial evidence. The applicant is entitled to be represented by counsel. If any of the applicants desire a continuance to obtain counsel, they will make that request to the board at that time. The board has the discretion to grant or deny that request. The hearing procedures will be as follows. Staff will be sworn. They will describe the applicant's request. They will have 10 minutes. The applicants may waive their presentation and rely on staff comments. If the applicant waives their presentation, they retain the right to rebut any testimony against their application. Do any of the applicants wish to waive their presentation? And if so, could you come to the podium, state your name and application for the record?
Greg Matavina, and I waive presentation for the Northgate item.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
John Farrell Burkett, I want to waive my presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
For the record, that was tab AH and AJ.
Understood? All right.
Applicants or representatives will have an opportunity to present evidence for their application. They will have 15 minutes for their presentation. Public participants for or against the application will be sworn in. They will have 3 minutes each to provide testimony and present evidence to the board. Extensions of time may only be granted through the chair. Sharing or transferring of time is not allowed. Public participants presenting evidence for or against the application will address the board at the podium. Any documents or photographs must be submitted to the deputy clerk when you're testifying. The documents will not be returned. They do become a part of the official record. The applicant or representative will have a maximum of 10 minutes for any cross-exam or rebuttal. Staff will have 5 minutes to provide final comments to the board. The board will then close the public hearing and discuss the application. You may ask questions of applicant, staff, or witnesses for or against the application. Any motion of the board should include whether the board member finds competent, substantial evidence in the record and/or testimony received to support your decision to approve or deny the agenda item. Again, the meeting's being recorded, so please no applause, outbursts, or talking. If there are any questions on these procedures, please ask them at this time. Seeing none, Mr. Chair, you may continue.
Thank you. Tab AH, consider and approve ordinance 2025-055 PUD 24-002, the rezoning of approximately 24.63 acres located at terminus of John Street, Clyde Street, Robert Street, and Yanni Road, from open rural to planned unit development. Application filed by Northgate Nassau LLC owner Gregory E. Montabino, agent District 3. Commissioner McCullough, any ex parte communications? Ex parte should include emails, letters, site visits, and other formal communications. And that should include who the communication was with and the nature of those communications.
I have none.
Commissioner Gray.
Yes, I've had emails and I've had site visit. Yes, sir, all on my county phone, the emails.
Commissioner Farmer.
I had a couple of emails, they're preserved on my county device.
Thank you. Commissioner Martin.
Yes, emails captured on my county device.
Email captured on county device, thank you. And I likewise received an email, but it was forwarded to me by the county attorney because the original email address that was on the letter from the law firm was addressed to the wrong email address. So I didn't actually receive it, but the county attorney was kind enough to forward it to me. And I have no disclosures from the applicant. So thank you very much. Madam Clerk, if you please identify the documents to be placed in the record for tab AH.
Tab AH, PUD 24-002, supplemental staff report 10 pages, staff report 10 pages, application for rezoning 21 pages, owner's authorization for agent 1 page, consent for inspection 1 page, Northgate PUD legal description 1 page, location map 1 page, bylaws of Northgate Owners Association, Inc., 8 pages, declaration of covenants and restrictions for Northgate 44 pages, special warranty deed 8 pages, drainage easement and covenant agreement 9 pages, Northgate PUD written description and conditions 7 pages, review criteria for rezoning 4 pages, Northgate preliminary development plan 1 page, public school concurrency proportionate share mitigation agreement 14 pages, email thread pertaining to the public school concurrency 3 pages, elevation exhibit 1 page, environmental assessment report 13 pages, Northgate duplexes traffic study 205 pages, Nassau County Business Impact Estimate 2 pages, Draft Ordinance 2025-055 4 pages, Executed Planning and Zoning Board Motion 1 page, Planning and Zoning Board Staff Presentation 14 pages, and Staff PowerPoint Presentation 14 pages.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion to accept those documents in the record.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll accept those for the record. I will open the public hearing for tab AH. Applicant presentation, staff presentation, staff.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Can you say your name, right? Or name and department for the record?
Elizabeth Back with the Planning Department. Good evening. This is the companion request to the comprehensive plan amendment, future land use amendment that we heard from earlier in the evening to move to high-density residential. So North Gate of Nassau with Greg Matavina as the agent. Again, this shows the location that we discussed earlier, north of State Road 200. The zoning on the left-hand side, currently open rural, requesting to move to planned unit development. And the future land use tonight moved from LDR to HDR, high density. I did mention that as part of a companion application, and the maximum dwelling units now approved is 10 dwelling units per unit, per site. So let's see. Planned unit development with a high-density residential request are compatible. The adjacent parcels are zoned RS2. That does allow for duplexes as a conditional use. I should mention that this planned unit development is seeking 190 duplex units, and that would be consistent with if they were to go to the Timber to Tides transect in this area. 3.5 would allow 2 to 5 dwelling units per acre. Let's see. And 3.5, it would be maximum of 10 dwelling units per acre. So this is a consistent zoning request for the higher densities. I should mention that high-density residential is what is called in our county. It's 10 dwelling units per acre. However, that isn't a consistent nomenclature across the country. So our high density might be someone else's low density, I should mention. This proposed rezoning is an area planned for residential and commercial growth, which does have public infrastructure, facilities, and services available. The applicant has executed a proportionate share mitigation agreement with the county and the school district to address impacts to the school capacity. And there are plans to connect to JEA-operated water and sewer for the site. Pedestrian facility improvements are proposed along Fillmore Road, allowing for a multi-use trail along the edge of the school site. So folks would be able to connect from this duplex subdivision over to the east for the elementary school. New development is subject to all county codes. Williams Avenue is proposed through this request to be closed. I believe on the site plan, it shows that there would be a Knox box and emergency access could be utilized, but otherwise not used as a primary entrance. It would be coming from the south, coming down Yanni from State Road 200. Any traffic impacts would be addressed at the time of site plan review, both with our Development Services Division and with Florida Department of Transportation. As I mentioned with the comp plan amendment, there are existing wetlands to the west. Those would be required to be preserved with the 25-foot upland buffer and comply with all local, state, and federal requirements. As we discussed, the PUD zoning density is consistent with that transect 3.5, maximum of 10 dwelling units per acre. And with the adoption of the Timber to Tides, which happened this past summer, there is anticipated a higher concentration of residential densities and mixed-use development at major nodes and intersections throughout that corridor. It is also, should be mentioned that it's within an opportunity zone identified by the state of Florida. Those were created by the Tax Cuts and Job Act of 2017, designed to help stimulate investment, economic development, and job creation in areas through tax incentives. We already talked about the wetlands, but we do have encouraging walkability with the incorporation of that multi-use trail connecting south to the State Road 200. And through the building of duplexes, this would be at a better price point for folks. I know that's a major conversation we've been having throughout the Vision 2050 process is affordable housing, including that missing middle housing. We talked about wetlands and issues with that. Compact development form, we talked about this being at the minor Fillmore Development Population Center and looking at increases in density, walkability, and multi-use trail connections. I should mention that the PUD planned development plan, PDP, envisions having a neighborhood park here, which is required and would lead to healthy lifestyles. So in terms of looking at what the PUD criteria are, some of these we've already spoken about, including the prop share mitigation agreement. In terms of recreation, they must provide a minimum of 1.94 acres of neighborhood parks for the level of service required for recreation. And they're proposing a 1.98 acre neighborhood park and a 0.2 acre pocket park to fulfill that requirement for a total of 2.18 acres of neighborhood parks. And those will be required through the site development review process to be consistent with the parks design manual. We talked about transportation, and water supply. The drainage and stormwater management will be required to meet the roadway and drainage standards of the county and the water management district. In total, between the 2.18 acres of neighborhood parks, and then you add some of the open space, there'd be a total of 8.69 acres of that, which the HOA would manage. There is no phasing proposed for this development, but PUDs do require a public benefit finding, and for this, it's the construction of the multi-use path and sidewalks along Williams Avenue, Fillmore, and connecting to State Road 200, with sidewalks along Robert Street and Yanni Road. Diversity of housing, being that they're proposing the duplexes with a lower price point, and enhanced architectural and landscape standards, which are included in the narrative in your background materials for the PUD. So if approved, this would be consistent with the recently approved HDR future land use category of the 10 dwelling units per acre, per upland acre. Let's see what we haven't covered here. Just in summation, staff does find that this requested planned unit development is consistent with the future land use policies, the land development code requirements for review, and the criteria for review of a planned unit development application. Staff does recommend approval of this PUD 24-002. And I should mention, the Planning and Zoning Board did vote unanimously to recommend approval of this at their October 21st meeting. Happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Peter Procco.
Hi again. Say again?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You're going to state your name and address for the record.
I'm Peter Procco. I live in Yulee, Florida. This is Pam. This is my wife, Pam. I don't know who this lady was, but I agreed with some of the stuff she was saying. This is a second attempt, a revised attempt to put this congested and sort of, we feel, incongruent PUD into an area of limited access. The changes that have been made, Mr. Matavina has made some changes that pushes the problems for our community up onto Yanni Road. And if this is going to go through, as it seems it has been, going through with all you guys, then basically you can have almost our blessing. We're trying to protect the existing homes and community just adjacent to it. It does force the traffic onto Yanni Road and then only westward on the 200. In one way, it's in one way and out one way, so there's lots of U-turns. The requested zoning changes would increase daily vehicular trip generations from this PUD over 350% from its zoning intentions that were in the original form. The JMT engineering firm has already stated in the first review where there was only a partial impact to Yanni Road. The level of service at SR 200 drops to F in both the morning and evening peak periods. SR 200 is unaffected, but drivers waiting on Yanni Road will face difficult conditions. Under this new plan, the entirety of the PUD's traffic will flow upon Yanni Road. So that's like 1,400 new daily trips. So if the county's engineers and you guys are okay with that, I say it's okay if this is where we are. I thought that this would be an immediate major issue with our county engineers, but if it's okay with them, again, I guess I have my blessing from it. Should this PUD proceed as it's presented tonight, I believe the county will eventually attempt to rectify this problem, this flaw, by trying to revisit something at Williams Avenue after the development has been already built. So they'll build it and say, oh, man, we really need to fix this. I hope it never comes to that, because that's the line where our group is going to say no. Future attempts to mitigate traffic impacts through Williams Avenue in my lifetime is unacceptable. I will vigorously litigate this matter for the safety and welfare of my homestead and community. So again, the changes that have been proposed, and I think everybody here has said yes. I'm just one person against the group, and again, if that's the way you feel can be safely done, as long as they stay to the plan and off of this new Williams Avenue in my community, and the hazards that I've already addressed with lots of photographs and lots of information, then Mr. Mattavini can almost have my blessing, I guess, if that makes sense. That makes sense? I'm gonna leave these guys alone. Is that right? Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Procco. Any cross-examination, additional questions? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment portion. Close the public hearing. Board deliberation, or I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Gray.
based upon the record evidence and testimony received, I find that there is competent substantial evidence pursuant to Nassau County Comprehensive Plan, Future Land Use Element Policy, FL 0102B, FL 0804, and FL 0806A through G, Land Development Code Section 5.02C and D, and rezoning application criteria 12A through N, and PUD criteria section 25.05 C1 through 6, and therefore my motion is to approve PUD 24-002.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner McCullough. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Farmer?
Yes.
Commissioner McCullough?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
And Chair Hutman.
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, your motion carries.
Thank you. Tab AI, consider the approved ordinance 2025-054, the rezoning of approximately 12,000 square feet of the back portion of the property from residential single-family RS2 to commercial intensive CI to correct a split zoning on the parcel. Application filed by Forshee Investments LLC owner, Michael Forshee, agent, District 3. I will open the hearing for tab AI. Any ex parte communication? Commissioner McCullough?
No, sir.
Commissioner Gray?
No, sir.
Commissioner Farmer?
None.
Commissioner Martin?
None.
And I have none as well. Madam Clerk, if you please identify the documents for tab AI.
Tab AR 25-010, supplemental staff report 5 pages, staff report 5 pages, application for rezoning 9 pages, rezoning criteria 1 page, warranty deed 2 pages, Nassau County Business Impact Estimate 2 pages, draft ordinance 2025-054 3 pages, executed planning and zoning board motion 1 page, planning and zoning board staff presentation 7 pages, and staff PowerPoint presentation 7 pages.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the documents for the record.
So moved.
Motion for Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? They are accepted into the record. I'll open the public hearing for tab AI, staff presentation.
I'll check. Elizabeth Back with the Planning Department. So this is a rezoning request for a portion of a property that is currently, the portion is zoned RS2, a residential single-family 2, to commercial intensive CI. to correct a split zoning situation. Forshee Investments LLC is the applicant and owner, with Michael Forshee being the agent in Commission District 3. So we are here located on US 17. This is the entirety of the parcel, just south of the intersection of Callaway Drive and US 17. As you can see on this map on the left-hand side, the parcel has a situation where it's commercial intensive in the front and has a small portion of RS2 in the rear, the eastern portion of the site. But you'll see on the right-hand side, the entire parcel and even the one east of it have a commercial underlying land use. So I won't read through all of this, but it is supported by your staff report. This is consistent with policy FL.01.02C of your comprehensive plan, policies FL.0806A through G, and would be a correction and enable the property to better develop with that commercial underlying land use. There is a commercial structure built in 1978. This would enable the property owner to utilize the entire parcel in the manner that it's been used for many years. And is consistent with that future land use designation. Similar or greater intensities exist surrounding the property. This does align with the county strategic plan. In terms of availability of infrastructure, no new roads will be required through this request, and it will not impact school or park services. It has a private well and on-site sewage treatment for the property. There are no known environmental sensitive, historical, or culturally significant lands on the property. So in summation, staff does find this request to be consistent with the requirements of the future land use plan, the land development code, the review criteria, and staff does recommend approval. And I can mention that the Planning and Zoning Board unanimously recommended approval of this at their October 21st Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. I have no speaker cards for tab AI. Seeing no public comment. Any questions for Ms. Beck? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing for tab AI. Board deliberation, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Gray.
based upon the record evidence and testimony received, I find that there is competent substantial evidence pursuant to policy FL.01.02C and policy FL.0806A through G of the Nassau County Comprehensive Plan and sections 5.02C and section 5.02D of the Nassau County Land Development Code, and therefore my motion is to approve R25-010.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner McCullough. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCullough?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer?
Yes.
And Chair Hutman?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, the motion carries.
Tab AJ, consider and approve R25019 rezoning of approximately 9.83 acres from industrial warehouse to Transect 73 T73. Application filed by John Farrell Burkett, Revocable Trust owners, and Nassau County Agent District 3. Any ex parte disclosures on tab AJ? Commissioner McCullough?
No, sir.
Commissioner Gray?
No, sir.
Commissioner Farmer?
None.
Commissioner Martin?
None.
And I have none as well. Madam Clerk, if you could identify the documents to be placed in the record.
Tab AJ R25-019, application for rezoning, 21 pages, response for criteria for R25-019. Supplemental staff report, 8 pages, staff report, 8 pages, Nassau County Business Impact Estimate, 2 pages, draft ordinance 2025-059, 3 pages, executed planning and zoning board motion, 1 page, planning and zoning board staff presentation, 15 pages, and staff PowerPoint presentation, 15 pages.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Those are accepted into the record. Open the public hearing for tab AJ. Staff presentation, Ms. Beck.
Thank you. Okay, so this is the companion to the future land use amendment that we heard earlier in the evening. So I'll try to move through this pretty quickly, but moving towards Transect 7.3 Industrial Park Special District. Located again on the east side of Jean Lassier, just north of State Road 200. Zoning shown on the left-hand side, moving from industrial warehouse, or IW, to T, or Transect 7.3 Industrial Park Special District. And same, which occurred earlier this evening for the land use. We did review earlier this minor node and tradeplex recommended transects and a connectivity map, where this parcel is approximately where my cursor is located there. We discussed this earlier about the uses allowed in T 7.3 Industrial Park, being those listed under IW and IH, and additionally travel trailer parks and campgrounds, subject to the supplemental standards in the Land Development Code. And this would be consistent with policy FL.01.02J, which is the timber to ties design overlay section of the comprehensive plan. And we did review this earlier, the allowed densities and floor area ratio maximums within timber to ties transects. And these are the same shown in the regulating map, so they're not seeking anything different than what staff recommended this past summer that you, the commissioners approved. The need and justification for the change. Staff finds this supported by the vision for the timber to ties design overlay district. As mentioned, approved this past summer. I'm not going to read all this, but you're very familiar with the fearless targets and the various initiatives and projects within the strategic plan. And this is supported by many of them. I think we mentioned there's potentially wetland on the site, that it would have to be addressed through the Land Development Code at the time of site plan review. And this is an enlargement of the tradeplex area. Again, we're looking, there's a cursor, it's on here, Jean Lassier within this T 7.3 tradeplex kind of gray area. Lastly, staff does find that this is consistent with the future land use policies mentioned on the slide. The Land Development Code requirements have been met. Staff does recommend approval of this application, and the Planning and Zoning Board recommended approval on their November 4th Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Beck? No,
sir.
Seeing none? Okay, we'll close the public hearing for tab AJ. Board deliberation, or I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Gray.
based upon the record evidence and testimony received, I found that there is competent and substantial evidence pursuant to policy FL0102J, policy FL0206, policy FL0804, and policy FL0806, A through G of the Nassau County Comprehensive Plan, and section 5.02C and section 5.02D, 1 through 8 of the Nassau County Land Development Code, and therefore my motion is to approve R25-019.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Martin. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
Commissioner McCullough,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
and Chair Hupman.
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays, your motion carries.
Informational item is tab AK. There's a county newsletter out electronically and in paper. General public comment. Comments can be for 3 minutes under the board. I have no speaker cards at this time. And Miss Jackie's not here. She must be busy.
Through the chair.
Right.
I got a text from her. She's decorating her tree with cats at the moment.
With cats?
Yes.
All right.
Beautiful picture.
Hopefully not live cats. Mr. Pope, do you have any additional business, or have you done enough tonight?
Nothing else.
Thank you, sir. Madam Attorney, any additional business for the board tonight?
I have no further business.
Okay, thanks. All right, we will start all the way on my right. Commissioner Martin, who has twice abstained from speaking at the end of the meeting tonight.
Well, and what I'm going to start off with is a little bit of sad news, and a couple of things. I recently attended the funeral for Dee Dee Bartles. She passed away at the age of 102, and I didn't know her personally, but I knew of her, and I knew that she was, I don't know, probably reached the level of being an icon in Nassau County. So I'm going to read her obituary. I don't normally do this, but if you make it to 102, I'm going to read your obituary. Dee Dee Bartels went home to God on November 28, 2025, at the age of 102. Born August 11, 1923, Dee Dee has left behind an immeasurable impact on the countless lives and places she has lived. Anyone who knew Dee Dee knew the unspoken truth that she was a remarkable person, just as anyone who knew her would have known that Dee Dee would have wanted it to be spoken. Her early life was spent under the sun of southern Florida, sailing, reading, and forming the basis for what would be a lifelong love of life. At 8 years old, after the death of her beloved father, she attended the convent of Mary Immaculate, a Catholic boarding school in Key West. She graduated just as World War II was beginning and went on to support the war effort in various ways at the naval base in Key West. During her time in Key West, she also hosted a daily radio show for WKIZ discussing local news and current events. During the Cuban Revolution, she went to Cuba to interview the revolutionaries for her radio show. She left Key West in 1959 and moved to Fernandina Beach with her husband and 2 sons. To put that in perspective, that was the year I was born. That's how long ago she came to Fernandina Beach. Following brief stints in California and Germany for her husband's work, she settled back in Fernandina and began to make her many marks on the history of the town. She served as the president of the Fernandina Beach Historical Society and was responsible for the preservation of Old Town and the Fort San Carlos archaeological dig. She was also a driving force behind the preservation of the old rail depot that is now the Fernandina Beach Welcome Center downtown. Excuse me. Most notable was her impact and influence on the shrimping industry of Fernandina. Dee Dee owned and operated several shrimp boats during the 60s and 70s and was one of the influences of the early shrimp festivals. Having grown up around the ocean and sailing, she was very familiar with regattas and suggested having a shrimp boat race during the slow spring shrimp season in order to generate local excitement and support of the shrimpers. The races became a huge success, bringing crowds, tourists, and media attention. At the young age of 70, Dee Dee decided to take on a new challenge. She moved to a remote island in the southern Caribbean called Caraco. She lived there for
Carousel.
Carousel. Thank you. I knew you would know. You probably rode by it. Okay? She lived there for over a decade, becoming an integral part of the community there with several businesses and countless friends. Throughout her life, Dee Dee wrote poetry and painted. Many people in Fernandina will know her from her art classes or her published books of poetry. She always made everyone feel welcome and important whenever they met her, and she never hesitated to bring new people into her life. She is survived by a large family who will miss her and her stories deeply. A funeral mass was held for her at St. Michael's Catholic Church on Tuesday, December 2nd, followed by a private burial service for the family. If you feel so inclined, please consider making a donation in Dee Dee's name to the Amelia Island Museum of History. So my condolences to her family and friends, and what a life she led. 102, did a lot of things, and she's going to be sorely missed. One more sad note, found out this morning, I think my fellow commissioners also got the news that many people in here probably don't recognize his name, don't know him, but Baker County Commissioner James Bennett passed away, tragically passed away this morning in a car accident on I-10. I knew him through the Northeast Florida, and Commissioner Huffman also, through the Northeast Florida Regional Council. He had been a member of the council for many years before I even joined the board there as a private citizen, or as a citizen representative. And I got to know him as a fellow commissioner in 2020. We recently elected him to be president and installed him as president of the Northeast Florida Regional Council. He was the chief operating officer of Jacksport. He was a University of Florida graduate, married, children, extended family. I don't know about any arrangements, but when I do find out if I'm available, I plan on attending his funeral. And he was a super guy, extremely sharp, and he'll be missed. And condolences to his family and to our colleagues in the Baker County Commission. So on a brighter note, kudos to the Northeast Florida, kudos to the Nassau Education Foundation. They recently did an event at Macama. It's kind of was a spinoff on the Shark Tank, but they couldn't call it that because of copyright infringement. But they awarded $60,000 in various grants to teachers throughout Nassau County for programs that they're doing in our school, in our schools. It was a very well-attended event. Our own Brandy Carvalho is on the board there. My wife's on the board. Justin Taylor served as the MC, did a great job. And they had a format where they had four prominent individuals from the community serve as sharks, if you're familiar with Shark Tank. And teachers came up and presented their pitch to get the funding. And $60,000 was awarded. So kudos to the Nassau Education Foundation. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
That's cool. Thanks, Commissioner Martin. Commissioner Farmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll try to be quick. There's quite a bit here to cover. For number one, I'd like to thank Director Robertson and the Parks and Rec Department, Facilities Maintenance, the Planning Department. We even had some of our Board of Commissioners staff there. Everybody's worked together to collaborate and put on the tree lighting this past Friday night at the courthouse. They did a phenomenal job. The weather moved in a little early, so we made an executive decision to push things up, lit the tree a little bit early. Of course, you know, our chairman did a fantastic job as usual, and everything went off without a hitch. But I wanted to make sure and give kudos to everyone that was involved because they did a fantastic job, and the community really appreciates those type of activities. Number two, we got about 2.5 inches of rain over the weekend over at my place. I'd like to thank the Road and Bridge Department. Checked with them throughout the weekend, and then, of course, I talked to them again today. And they had boots on the ground all weekend. They were working hard to keep our roads open, and I tell you, it says a lot about that Road and Bridge Department, and I'd like to thank them for going above and beyond. Number three, Kellyanne Christmas Parade was a monster Saturday morning as usual. Just want to say, if you missed it, man, I tell you, come on out and see it one year. It gets bigger and bigger every year, and they do a fantastic job of shutting the roads down and still have that small-town charm to it. You know, so come on out if you can. I didn't make it over to the Fernandina Lighted Parade. In fact, I saw the weather coming through, and as you can probably hear, I got a little bit of a sinus infection going on, so I didn't want to be in the rain any further. And it's not contagious. I see you moving over there, so it's just anyhow. That's let's see. Number four, congratulations to Commissioner McCullough on being elected by this board to serve as the 26th chairman or chairperson. She want to go chairman, chairperson, whatever. Hey, you know what I mean? We're
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, you know, hey, however you want to do it. Congratulations. Thank you to my colleagues for trusting me to continue to serve on the TPO board, be the Nassau County representative, also chairman of the Value Adjustment Board and the 2026 Canvassing Board. Appreciate you guys and your trust in me. Number five, I'd like to wish our condolences up to and prayers to the Bennett family. Commissioner James Bennett from Baker County, he served with me on that TPO board. He was a good man, a very humble public servant, and it's a very sad day for the region to lose a man of his knowledge. Also, condolences go out to the Tillman family. I saw today where Sonny Tillman of Sonny's Barbecue passed away at 96 years old. In 1968, he founded the first Sonny's on Waldo Road in Gainesville. And 9 years later, they began franchising. They sold in 1988, and they have nearly 100 restaurants here in the South. And I'm pretty sure that probably everybody in this room has been in a Sonny's Barbecue. It's pretty consistent. But I'd like to put our condolences out to the Tillman family. He did a lot for the Florida Gators. He was a huge Florida Gator fan. Congratulations to my West Nassau Warriors on a great run this year. We lost a couple weeks ago, 51-41 to American Heritage in the SSAA state championship game. But just to make it to a state level game like that says a lot about our team. And we finished the season with a 12-2 record. So, you know, we're going to come back this next year and take it on to the top. But just like to wish those guys congratulations on a wonderful season. Lighted marquee over at County Road 108. I don't know if you guys have been made aware of it or not, but there's a lighted marquee over on River Road from the River Road project, and I presume it probably belongs to the contractor that, you know, just hasn't picked it up yet. We've got an IT guy over there, and thankfully he's not dirty, and he wrote "take down" on the marquee, so it flashed "take down" for a few hours. Then he came back and hit us again with Jesus Saves. And I don't really have a problem with either one of those, but we probably want to contact the contractor and let them know that we got a guy with a laptop over there that has the knowledge to put some things up there that might not be very wholesome for our community. And so if we can get on that, I'd appreciate it.
To confirm, he's not a county IT guy.
No, by no means. It's somebody with the experience to do, to light the sign up and make it what he wants. And like I said, it's just, you know how that can go. That can go sideways. And then also, last but not least, this week, Dickens on Center begins on Thursday. If you haven't been out to the Victorian Christmas Market and the Holiday Festival in historic downtown Fernandina, it runs from Thursday till 14th Sunday. Come out and enjoy just a iconic festival for our community, and that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Farmer. Mr. Gregg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, kudos to county staff for the Christmas tree lighting. Even though we got wet, we still had a little bit of a fun time, and it was a very good effort put on by all our employees. And I, as well, attended the Callahan Christmas Parade on Saturday with some of my colleagues there. They were all there, and we had a lot of fun. And on December the 20th, we have the Yulee Christmas Parade. So if you want to have some fun, come on out. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Gregg.
I'm
Commissioner
going to
McCullough.
echo all of the above sentiments, and back to the shark, I've got to give a shout out because two of my former colleagues at Hilliard Middle Senior High School, Aaron Schreiber and Noah Rollerson, if you know Noah, he's big into history. He's just an advocate for students understanding America. And their project was bringing together the celebration of the 250 years of America's history to play dance, song, music into Hilliard Middle Senior High School. So I'm so excited to watch that project come to life because anything pro America is awesome. John Hendricks and Emily did a great job with the Callahan Parade. In the newsletter, I saw my little chopper, the one that got 84,000 shares. That was the last dog that came to. So if everyone wants to know, Chopper's just living his best life on the farm. My father-in-law has made him his own custom farm dog bed, and he lives in high hog royalty now. So that's how Chopper's story ended. And he has little treats, and he has a little seat on the golf buggy, and he is now the mayor of Prospect Landing Road. So he's out there living his best life. That's what he's up to. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Real quickly, again, congratulations, Commissioner
Thank you, Mr.
McCullough, on ascending to the chair position.
Chair.
Madam Chair. That'll happen on the first of the year, but today we did our reorganization. I also wanted to thank Miss Mary Valenta, who was on there as my nominee to serve on the Planning and Zoning Board for District 2, and she was confirmed by this board today as well, and excited for that going forward. Everything for the staff, thank you. And another sad note, if you don't mind, I'm just going to close on this. Mr. Roy Postel, who was a neighbor of mine in Flora Park, and even made a run for chairman of our local Republican Executive Committee last year, super engaged in our community, married to his wife Susanna for 38 years. He passed suddenly last week, and I just want to offer my thoughts and prayers to his family and to the county, because he was a good guy, even in starting up taking over our HOA from a developer in Flora Park, which you can imagine was probably quite the arm wrestling match. Roy was critical in that process as well. So prayers to his family and his wife Susanna. And thank you all for a long day of efficient and effective county government in Nassau County. We appreciate you guys very much.